about special products, which is cube of binomial. So for cube of binomial, you have to remember this pattern. This one. Okay, so F here stands for your first term and L stands for your last term. So if you have F plus L cube, then the product of it would be your first term cube plus 3 times the product of first term squared times the last term plus 3 times the product of the first term times your last term squared plus last term cube. And then same goes with F minus L. You have this pattern. So if we're going to answer this first example, then your first term here would be x, right? Your first term here is x and your last term here is 2. Now, following the pattern for cube of binomial, then you have first term cube, so that is x cube, plus thrice the product of first term squared times your last term, which is 2, plus 3 times the product of the first term times last term squared, which is 2 squared, plus last term cube, so 2 cube. And then let's simplify this. So you have x cubed plus 6x squared. 4 times 3, you have 12x, and then 8. So that's it. This is our final answer. Next, on the second one, your first term is y and your last term is 3. I wouldn't include the negative here because the negatives are already in the pattern. Okay, the negatives are already in the pattern. So let's just copy the coefficient or the constant. So with this, you will have the product of this would be your first term cube. So that will be y cubed minus 3 times f squared y squared times your last term, which is 3, and then plus 3 times your first term, that would be y, and last term squared, so that's 3 squared, plus last term cube. Okay. Now simplifying this, you get y cubed minus 9 y squared plus 9 times 3, so you have 27y, plus 3 times 3, you have 9 times 3, so 27. So this is your final answer. So by the way, I will just edit this. You have squared here. Okay, so next, let's say you have 2x plus 5 cubed. So your first term here would be 2x, and then your last term here would be 5. Now, following the pattern, then you have 2x cubed plus 3 times your f squared, 2x squared, plus your last term, which is 5, plus 3 times your first term, which is 2x, and last term squared, plus last term cube. So in here, you have 8x cubed plus 4 times 3, 12 times 5, then you get 60. So 60x squared plus you have 25 times 3, 75 times 2, you have 150. So that would be 150x plus 125. So this one 5 times 5, 25 times 5, so 125. So this is your final answer. For the last one, you have 3x minus 4 cubed. So in here, you have your first term is 3x and your last term is 4y. Again, I wouldn't include the negative because the negative is already in our pattern. So that would be 3x cubed plus 3 times 3x squared. Sorry, this should be minus already. Minus 3 times 3x squared times the last term 4y plus 3 times your first term 3x and then your last term squared. So that would be 4y squared minus your last term squared, which is 4. Cube. So that would be 3 times 3, 9 times 3, 27x cubed. And then you have 9 times 3. So you have 27 times 4. So 27 times 4, that would be 108. 108x squared y. And then you have 4 times 4, 16 times 3 times 3. So you get 144 plus 144xy squared. And then 4 cubed would be 4 times 4, 16 times 4. You have 64. So minus 64. So this will be our final answer for this.